Hi everyone, just want to take a quick second. We messed up on the episode number. We are actually on episode number 8. Thank you.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so what number is this?
We are on episode 7 of Rainy City Murders.
Okay, rainycitymurders are Pacific Northwest.
I do want to take a quick second to apologize for episode 6 being delayed a week.
Yeah.
I was flying home when it was supposed to initially go up, and I just could not, between everything that was going on that weekend, I couldn't get it edited in
Okay,
time.
the internet at the hotel sucked.
I had to pay for it. I've never had to pay for internet before at a hotel.
Yeah, especially it was a Hilton.
I only
people.
had one bar of service the whole time.
Yeah, come on,
Do you
people.
know I had more service in the pool when I called you than I did anywhere else in the hotel?
I know. Come on, Hilton.
So, we are on episode 7.
Yes.
You do not know this case. So, this is kind of like a 3-in-1 almost. And I debated about which podcast to put this on. Because it started in Oregon, but it ended here in Washington.
Okay.
But then I realized, I was like, well, this is Oregon, Washington, and Idaho were kind of the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
So I can kind of get away with it.
Yes.
So this case is interesting, and so is the perpetrator.
Okay.
And I'm basically, there's just so much history here, and I'm going in a certain direction with this, and I'm hoping it makes sense.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Martha Morrison.
Okay.
So she lived near Lane County, Oregon. She lived in Lane County, Oregon, near Eugene.
Okay.
She was in foster care.
Okay.
She does have siblings, a sister and a half brother that she later found. Reba, her sister, remembers her mom being deaf, and Martha was skilled in sign language. So from what it kind of understands is that she was in foster care, but she knew who her family was. So I think her mom couldn't
take care of them
properly. Because back then, any form of a disability, kind of, they side-eyed you.
Yes. What year was this?
1974.
Okay.
She attended Roosevelt High School in Portland and Corvallis Farm School in Corvallis. So I actually did not know what a farm school was, because I had never heard of it. So it was built in 1925 by the WCTU, which is like it's a women's organization. WCTU, you guys should look it up. It's like a women's Christian transitional union or something like that. It was big in the progressive era. I think, if I remember correctly, it was I researched this. I know who started it. But it's a women's Christian temperance union.
Okay.
So the purpose was to provide homes for orphans, neglected children, and children whose families could not otherwise take care of them in the years leading up to the Great Depression.
Okay.
The school closed in the 1980s and merged with Waverly Baby Home to form Trillium Family Services.
Okay.
Subsequently, she also had gone to Arizona at some point to participate in the Job Corps program when she was in high school. I can see them not taking her case seriously because of this next part. She had a history of drug use and of running away from the homes of both her biological and her foster families.
Okay.
And the Corvallis Farm School as well.
Okay.
So foster care, drug use. She ran away from schools, her homes. So the police did not take her case seriously.
Of course not.
Right? You gotta love it. So she was last seen leaving her apartment, which she and a man had rented. The couple reportedly quarreled, and Martha subsequently went missing. Shortly before her disappearance on September 1st, 1974, Martha had visited her family in Eugene with this man.
Okay. So, do they know this man?
I was never able to find his identity.
Okay.
So it's possible they knew, but they never
disclosed it.
Because if
maybe he was married.
Maybe she ran away and they're just like, well, she ran away.
Yeah.
So she disappeared. Human remains of 2 women were found on October 12, 1974 in Dole Valley, which is near Vancouver, Washington. These were examined nationwide with the hope of identifying them. One victim was identified through dental records as 18-year-old Cara Platt Valenzuela,
Okay.
but the second victim was unknown. Venezuela had been reported missing on August 4th by her husband after she failed to return home after hitchhiking to Vancouver on August 2nd. You allowed your wife to hitchhike.
That was the days where
You
know,
could.
Yeah, that's the Ted Bundy days.
So investigators hoped that her identification would perhaps increase the likelihood of identification for the then unidentified remains. They intended to question her husband following her identification, yet he was recovering from an aspirin overdose at the time. He was arrested but eventually released after passing a polygraph test on October 25th.
Okay.
All examinations were unsuccessful in identifying the second victim, who was originally estimated to be 20 to 25 years old.
Okay.
Their remains were originally examined by an anthropologist from the University of Washington. Forensic facial reconstructions were created of the victim from both frontal and profile views, and released through newspaper but went unrecognized by the public. So the victim's physical description was also listed, including the fact that she had curly, textured hair and dental hygiene problems. The victim also appeared to have given birth at some point, although it is unknown if the person identified ever had a child. Police returned to the scene following the initial discovery in order to possibly obtain more evidence. They also used new metal detectors that they had borrowed from a Snohomish County resident, which is random because Snohomish is not
Anywhere near
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Because it's Clark.
Unless you're talking Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah. Vancouver is Clark County in Washington.
Yeah, it's on the Oregon Washington border. Vancouver, Columbia is Washington and Canada.
Uh-huh. So examination indicated the victims had been deceased for at least 2 weeks prior. Decomposition and animal activity had made it difficult to estimate the time or cause of death, although authorities presumed they were murdered. The remains may have also been deposited at the location at different times.
Okay.
Several missing persons at the time were considered, including Patty Hearst, who was later found alive. There was a missing persons case running at the same time out of Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So investigators obtained DNA from the case's sister and half-brother. So with that, they were able to develop a genetic profile to compare to potential matches. So as far as they are aware, she is missing out of Portland. Martha Morrison is missing out of Portland.
Okay.
After the testing was completed, it was compared to the currently unidentified remains, whose DNA profile was developed in 2012. Similarities were noted, yet a definitive match was not established. Both the missing persons and identified victim were eventually entered into the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, which specializes in locating missing people and identifying human remains. 10 missing people were excluded as possible identities of the remains until identification was made in July 2015.
2015?
Martha Morrison's remains went unidentified for 40 years.
Even though
because they never put it together. The skull and some other bones were mislabeled as Cara Platt Valenzuela's while they were in storage. So investigator Nikki Acosta said this was one of the reasons why the remains were unidentified for so long. In 2011, this problem was discovered when the skull's teeth were noticed to be different from Venezuela's dental records. So after previous unsuccessful testing, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children stated they would pay for an exhumation of the victim's father in order to retrieve DNA and compare it with the unidentified remains. The result of this last test was a definite indication that the remains were those of Martha Morrison. 40 years.
40 years.
Because their skull and teeth got
Mixed up.
So investigator Nikki Costa said in an interview conducted after the identification that a great deal of time had been spent on the investigation, including following leads that may have linked the case to serial killer Gary Ridgway, which doesn't make sense to me because it wasn't similar to any of his victims.
No, and it was in Portland.
Ted Bundy, and then Randall Woodfield.
Why?
So, for people who don't know about who Randall Woodfield is, he is the I-5 killer. He was convicted for only one murder, but he was linked to 18 and suspected up to 44 murders, and he was active from 1980 to 1981.
Yeah, so
they were listed as persons of interest in both Morrison's and Venezuela's case prior to 2017, when they identified the prime suspect, Warren Leslie Forrest. Let's talk about him. He was convicted of a double murder, and he was a suspected serial killer. So,
what was he doing out?
no, he was convicted for a separate murder.
Before or after them?
Before that they were identified. He was going through a new trial.
He was already, okay.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Forrest, shall we?
Sure.
So, he was born in Vancouver on January 29th, 1949. He is the youngest of two brothers. His parents is Harold and Dolores Forrest. He attended Fort Vancouver High School and became the captain of the school's track and field team.
Okay.
So, we're looking at another man who is very outgoing, very charismatic, which is normal profile for serial killers.
It wasn't for, what's his name?
Yeah, I'll give you that. Or like Gacy.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Gacy's the clown one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Gary Ridgway is not.
Apparently if you're...
He had to pay for sex.
Yeah. We'll talk about him. So after graduating in September 1967, Forrest and his older brother Marvin were drafted for the Vietnam War. So he served as a fire control crewman for the 15th Field Artillery Regiment at the Homestead Air Force Base in Homestead, Florida. So he was Air Force.
Okay.
He was discharged. He returned home to Vancouver, and he married his high school sweetheart, Sharon Ann Hart, in August 1969. They had 2 children. Shortly after their marriage, they moved to Fort Bliss, Texas, and then to Newport Beach, California, where Forrest enrolled at the North American School of Conservation and Ecology.
Okay.
However, he quickly lost interest in studying and dropped out at the end of the first term. In late 1970, Forrest and his wife moved to Battleground, Washington, where he found a job with the Clark County Parks Department. On October 2nd, 1974, he was arrested on charges of kidnapping, rape, and attempted murder. On the previous day, so mind you, she disappeared in 1974. This is a completely different charge. On the previous day, he had met a 20-year-old woman in Portland, Oregon, and lured her into his car under the pretense of doing a photo shoot. So, like I said, he is a charismatic, from what I understand, he was a very handsome man at the time.
Okay.
Instead,
let's see a picture of him. Let's see what we think.
He's not that attractive now. I will tell you that much.
He's even alive now?
Yes, he is.
What is he, pushing 90?
Well, oh, yeah, he's something. I hate to say it.
He was cute. He's not now.
He was really cute.
But he was a serial killer.
That's him now.
Oh.
Instead, he drove to a city park and assaulted her. He raped her several times, tortured her, and shot her with darts from an air-powered dart gun. Forrest then drove her to Camas, Washington, where he stabbed her 6 times with a knife near Camas Lake and attempted to strangle her. The woman fell unconscious after the attack, and as Forrest believed, she had died. However, so he completely undressed her and threw her into some nearby bushes, not realizing that she was still alive. However, so she woke up 2 hours later and managed to make her way to the city, where she was found by a passerby. She was driven to a nearby hospital and given emergency medical attention, and she survived. So once in stable condition, she provided a description of her assailant and the distinctive features of his car. According to her testimony, he drove a blue 1973 Ford van and had greeted several park employees while driving through the area. Why would you take her to your place of work?
Because you thought you were going to kill her.
So as the park was under the Parks Department's jurisdiction, police assumed that the perpetrator was an employee and started looking into their alibis. He screwed himself.
He totally screwed himself.
So examination revealed that Forrest was absent from work on the day of the attack, being on sick leave. He owned a 1973 blue Ford van and matched the perpetrator's description very well. Police obtained a search warrant for his home and vehicle. While searching his home, they found jewelry and clothing fragments that belonged to the 20-year-old who also conclusively identified him as her attacker when she was presented a photograph of him. He was unable to provide a convincing alibi and was charged the same day.
That's one way to do it.
Right? So soon after his arrest was publicized, they were able to identify him as a kidnapper of a 15-year-old girl who stated that she had also been assaulted by him. According to her testimony, on July 17, 1974, she was attempting to hitchhike out of Ridgefield and voluntarily got into his van after he offered her a ride. He raped her and beat her, and after they reached the slopes of Tukes Mountain, Tukes, Tukes?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Tukes Mountain, she was bound, gagged, and tied to a tree. He intended to kill her, but she managed to chew through the gag and hide in nearby bushes until the morning when she emerged and sought help. So, despite her testimony, Forrest was solely charged with the kidnapping and attempted murder of the 20-year-old woman. His legal team soon filed a motion for a psychiatric evaluation, which determined that he was legally insane. Do you know how impossible that is? To get an actual legally insane, like literally...
Well, just back then it wasn't.
For insanity. That's
back then it wasn't.
Back then, but like nowadays, you can't get that.
No, you can't.
The last case I heard about by reason of insanity was the Slender Man stabbings. Was those two girls. You don't get it by reason of insanity.
No, you don't.
And so the thing is that he was thus acquitted by reason of insanity in order to undergo treatment at the Western State Hospital in Lakewood.
Yes. They got some crazy ass people there.
They do. They got some scary ass people there.
I know.
Like I said, this is kind of a 3-for-1. You got Martha Morrison. You got Martha. You got our serial killer. You want to hear about the victim that he actually got convicted for?
Sure.
Krista Blake.
Okay.
So you got 3. So like I said, 3-for-1.
Okay. How old was Krista Blake? She 20.
She was 20.
Okay.
He had a type. He went for the young. 15 was kind of young for him, I think. But
Yeah.
like he stuck around the 20s. 20.
Okay.
So on July 16, 1976. So this is
2 years later.
Mm-hmm. 2 Portland residents who went to pick mushrooms and wildflowers in Tukes Mountain near Battleground, noticing a small brown shoe sticking out of some bushes. So when the mushrooms pulled on the shoe, they saw a skeletal leg and reported the find to the local police, who unearthed the half-skeletalized body of a young woman. So forensic examination of the jaw led scientists to determine the remains belonged to 20-year-old Krista K. Blake. She was a hitchhiker who disappeared from Vancouver on July 11, 1974. He was very busy that few days in July.
He was.
So witnesses claimed that prior to Blake's disappearance, she got into a 1973 blue Ford driven by a young white male whom the witnesses did not recognize. So as Forrest had the same van, he came under suspicion in not only Blake's, but the disappearances and murders of at least 6 teenagers and young women who had been abducted from Clark County between 1971 and 1974.
Okay, is his wife staying with him?
Let's see if I have it. No, I find out the end for you.
Okay.
So almost all of them hitchhiked and were seen entering a van before vanishing. A closer look at Blake's clothes led to the discovery of holes on her t-shirt, which investigators believed were made by a dart gun, similar to the one Forrest used on the kidnapped 20-year-old woman.
Okay. Come on, people. Don't use the same weapon, like a dart gun.
Mm-hmm. So during the investigation, police determined that on the day Blake had disappeared, Forrest was not working and had no alibi. His mother claimed that he had spent part of the day at her house, but left early in the evening and did not return home until the following morning.
So he lived at home with Mama?
No, he was visiting her, I believe.
Oh.
So
the wife did kick him out.
I don't think at that time. I think maybe he was just visiting Mom.
Okay.
Since Blake's clothes and bones showed no signs of stab wounds or bullet holes, the medical examiner concluded that she had likely been strangled. Forrest was charged on this basis with Blake's murder in 1978. Although he had been detained at a mental institution, Forrest and his attorney, Don Gregg, filed a petition for another examination, claiming that his mental state had improved greatly and that Forrest wanted to represent himself at trial. So you go from insanity to wanting to represent yourself at trial.
That is insanity.
I think that just proved the point. His request was granted, and Forrest was allowed to stand trial. So initially, 4 judges that had been involved with Forrest's previous trials were disqualified on the grounds of being potentially biased either in favor of or against him. This decision was eventually resolved, and Justice Robert McMullen was appointed as the trial judge. The trial for Krista Blake began in early 1979, but a mistrial was declared after his attorney allowed a second dart gun, unrelated to the case, to be submitted as evidence. His defense team filed a motion for a change of venue from Clark County to Cowlitz County.
Cowlitz, yeah.
Arguing that the publicity surrounding the murders would prejudice the jurors against their client. The motion was granted, and the trial resumed in April 1979 at a court in Cowlitz County.
Do they think they don't read the newspaper in Cowlitz?
You remember what Cowlitz was like?
Huh.
I would not be that surprised.
Okay. Yes, we are making fun of Washington.
We can. So during the proceedings, Forrest pleaded not guilty, of course, claiming that he had been on vacation to Long Beach with his wife and kids. His alibi was confirmed by his mother, who said Forrest had been at home at the time when investigators supposed Blake had gone into the van. So his mother was protecting him.
Yes.
Mama's boy.
Yeah.
He looked like a mama's boy.
Why wasn't his wife saying yes?
I don't know.
So maybe she wouldn't lie for him.
However, prosecutors asserted that her testimony was unreliable, pointing out that she had originally told investigators that her son left the house in the early evening and did not return until the following morning. I think you're right. I think he probably was kicked out during all. I wonder if they had.
His wife kicked him out.
I wonder if they've been going through like trouble or something, and he got kicked out or something.
Yeah. Okay. If my husband
Oh,
was...
okay. Here you go. I got it for you. Forrest's wife Sharon also testified in his defense, although she admitted that their marriage had been rocky and that Forrest sometimes suffered from blackouts. Sharon insisted that Forrest had been with her the entire time and never showed any indication of being violent towards women. There you go. There's the wife. I was pretty sure I had the wife.
Okay. If I thought my husband actually did it, I've been married for 35 years to Peyton's dad. I just wouldn't testify.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I would.
I just wouldn't testify.
I would claim it was
spousal privilege.
Yep.
Unless I, yeah.
Unless I truly hated the person. At the
unless
time.
I
was going through like a bitter divorce or something.
Yeah, I would say spousal privilege.
Mm-hmm. So multiple witnesses testified against Forrest, saying that he had been seen with the victim at different times and was acquainted with her. Some of the witnesses' claims were questioned by the defense team, as 2 of the witnesses had given descriptions of the suspected killer's vehicle that did not match the one Forrest was driving. At one hearing, his surviving victims took the stand and identified him as their assailant. Forrest himself had pleaded guilty to the kidnapping and attempted murder of the 20-year-old, claiming that he had done so while under the effects of PTSD, but categorically refused to admit guilt on the murder of Blake and the kidnapping of the 15-year-old.
Okay, so he said
PTSD.
It made him do it?
Which, I hate to say it, there is ideas of PTSD, like, during an episode, but back then, like, there was, like, little to no knowledge about PTSD.
Yeah.
Like there is now.
Okay.
So the prosecutor's office, in turn, insisted that he was guilty of all charges, as each crime matched his modus operandi.
Okay.
He was ultimately found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment with the chance of parole. Yeah, they gave him a chance of parole. So, following his conviction, he was transferred to the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. He filed an appeal in early 1982, but it was denied in October of that year. He has filed numerous parole applications over the years, which have been unsuccessful due to the fact that he was a suspect in other violent crimes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about this. Since his initial convictions, he has remained a suspect in multiple kidnappings, disappearances, and murders that were committed in Clark County during the early 1970s.
Okay.
He has refused to cooperate with investigators.
Of course he has.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go stay in prison. He wants to be able to parole.
So in 2017, hoping to kind of change his outcome of this parole hearing, he confessed to murdering Krista Blake and to the initial kidnappings. He stated that Blake had been deeply depressed at the time of her murder, as well as severely stressed and suffering from the effects of a mental illness, and claimed that he did not intend to kill her at first, but eventually did so because she attempted to escape. He also... Right. He also candidly confessed to a total of 16 crimes involving women between 1971 and 1974, ranging from voyeurism to murder. That's a very wide spectrum. Just say it. That's a very wide spectrum.
That's a very wide spread.
In spite of this, he claimed that he had killed nobody else besides Krista, and that he was remorseful for his actions. So despite his admissions, his application was denied, and he was prohibited from filing further appeals until March 2022. The parole board stated that he continued to pose a danger to society and made minimal progress in improving his behavior.
So what is he like in prison? I know he's not a model prisoner.
In December 2019, he was charged with the murder of 17-year-old Martha Morrison, who went missing from Portland, Oregon in September 1974.
Okay.
Her remains were discovered, as we said, on October 12, 1974, in Clark County, 8 miles from Tukes Mountain, where Krista Blake's body was found.
Okay.
However, authorities at the time were unable to possibly identify her, as she was known to simply as Jane Doe.
Okay.
So in 2010, Martha's half-brother submitted DNA samples to police in Eugene, Oregon, which I think that's also partially why the DNA didn't click, is because it's her half-brother.
Yes.
And so in 2014, investigators began examining physical evidence from his criminal cases to determine if it could be used in unsolved crimes.
Okay.
So forensic experts from the Washington State Police Crime Lab isolated a partial DNA profile from bloodstains found on his dart gun and cross-referenced it with Martha's DNA, leading to the positive identification of Morrison's remains. So consequently, he was identified as Martha's killer. In January 2020, he was extradited back to Clark County to await charges in Martha's murder. He pleaded not guilty on February 7, 2020. The trial was supposed to begin on April 16th, but was delayed numerous times due to COVID. The trial resumed in the beginning of 2023, with him being found guilty on February 1st. He received another life sentence 16 days later.
I don't think he's getting out on parole.
Besides Krista and Martha, he remains the prime suspect in the disappearance and murders of at least 5 teenagers and young women. In each case, the perpetrator exhibited a similar modus operandi.
Yeah, he did more. There's no way he only killed 7 people.
I have the suspected victims.
Well, I think it's interesting that you said that he confessed to like 15 other crimes. Mm-hmm. So he's not confessing to people he killed.
No, it's going to be the lesser charges.
Yes, he's
that
not,
can't really like.
Or the people aren't dead because he doesn't want to face.
He already has 2 life sentences.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to confess to anything else.
No, and so that's why he's dubbed a suspected serial killer, is because he has not hit that 3rd body.
Yes,
he is not. I fully believe he has killed all these girls, all these women. But because he is not confirmed to have a 3rd victim, 3rd body attached to his name, he is not a serial killer. He is a suspected serial killer.
Okay.
We have Jamie Rochelle Grissom. She was 16. She was the student at Fort Vancouver High School who disappeared while walking home from school on December 7th, 1971. So during the subsequent search for her, policemen found a number of personal belongings, including her purse and an ID card in Dole Valley, so where the bodies were found. It was initially believed that she ran away and left the state, but she has not been seen since. Since Martha was later found buried not far from where her personal belongings were found, local authorities have reassessed their conclusions and now believe that Grissom was abducted and killed by Forrest.
Okay.
You have Barbara Ann Derry. She was 18. She went missing on February 11th, 1972. She was last seen on a highway trying to hitchhike from Vancouver to Goldendale, which I've never even heard of Goldendale, where she had moved to attend college. Her body was discovered on March 29th at the bottom of a silo inside the Cedar Creek grist mill. She had died from a stab wound to her chest area, which is different because the others were strangled.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different, but it's still the same. So you have Diane Gilchrist. She was 14.
That's a little young.
Well, kidnapped a 15-year-old. She went missing on May 29th, 1974. She was a 9th grade student at the Shumway Junior High School who had never exhibited problematic behavior. Gilchrist's parents claimed that she had left their home in downtown Vancouver through her bedroom window on the 2nd floor and then vanished into the night. She has never been found and her fate remains unclear. So then you have Gloria Nadine Knudsen. She was 19. She was last seen on May 31st, 1974. She was a senior at Hudson's Bay High School. She had been invited to a housewarming party but declined, opting to instead visit a downtown Vancouver nightclub, the Red Caboose, where she was seen by several acquaintances. One witness told police that she saw his help in the early morning, claiming that somebody had attempted to rape her and was now stalking her. The man claimed that she had asked him to drive her home, but his car was out of gas. Distraught, Knudsen decided to walk home and disappeared soon after. Her skeletal remains were discovered by a fisherman in a forest area near Lake Lacamas Lake on May 9, 1978. He is also suspected in Carol Platt, Venezuela's.
Oh, yeah. The body that he found.
With Martha's, who was 20, went missing on August 4th, 1974, while hitchhiking from Camas to Vancouver. She was
busy.
She was a married mother of 2 infant children. She was not known to be involved in prostitution or to have a criminal record. On October 12th, her skeletal remains were discovered by a hunter in the Dole Valley area outside of Vancouver, very close to those of Martha. Due to this, authorities believe that Forrest likely killed both of them. And that is the case. So like I said, I gave you guys a 3 for 1.
Yes. Okay, so this guy.
I fully believe that he killed all the other girls.
Yeah. I am so happy that he got a second. He can't parole.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is the story of Martha Morrison, Krista Blake, and all these other victims.
Poor girls.
Mm-hmm. So, what are your thoughts?
That he should have been put to death in the lethal injection.
Well, the question becomes.
Well, you know what? He was not convicted of the other ones. So I can't really judge him for those. But he has 2 murder. He's been convicted of 2 murders.
And it's the fact that also, like, I think 3, like, they easily could have got him on Carol's too, but they chose not to go after him for her, which I don't understand considering that she was found with Martha.
Yeah.
So to me, likely, it had to be the same person.
Yeah, you would think so, unless somebody got really lucky. You thought, oh, I'm gonna follow him into the thing and see where he dumps his dead body, so I can dump mine.
That is true.
You know.
But I fully believe that he killed all of them.
Yeah, so do I.
You can't tell me different.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody has any comments,
I would love to hear
any whatever's going on, let us know.
Mm-hmm. We shall see you guys next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.